Hello, it's Bob live on the Highway Code, good old YouTube. Yeah, welcome to the live stream today, question and answers. Get on here, get your comments on, and we'll have a look and see how you guys are doing. Been speaking to most of you this week anyway, online. Classes seem to be going successfully. A couple of online sessions in Muay Thai, which is always bizarre, doing Muay Thai online, solo drills. And of course, we had the meditation session last night, which appears to be going very well. People seem to be really sort of getting into it. So any of you guys out there and you want to put out some comments, it helps me think about something to say. Otherwise, it's like a radio show without guests. And as I can't play music, well, yeah, that's the way it is. So any of you guys out there, come and talk to me, and yeah, we'll see where we go from there, guys. I think I might have had a comment then. No. Yeah, Matt. What should I make the kids for lunch? That's a good question. What shall I make the kids for lunch? Hard-boiled eggs and nuts, Matt. Hard-boiled eggs and nuts, which is actually the name of a comedy show me and another chap are going to be doing on YouTube just for a laugh. Well, that is the general idea. Hiya, Stuart. Morning, afternoon, or whatever it is. Hope you're well, and things are going good for you. Yeah, getting this stuff going on. Anthony, Anthony Niner, as we used to call him, Andy. Hiya, Niner. Hope you're well, mate. Getting over this cold or whatever it is you've got. Hopefully not COVID. You don't want any of that. That's crap. Yeah. So far the questions are, what shall I make the kids for lunch? So any of you guys got any ideas what you make the kids for lunch? I'll pop a pan on then. Yeah, hard-boiled eggs. The nuts you don't have to cook, although you can roast them and put them with salt. However, we don't want to have salty nuts, not while we're online. Certainly not online. Hey, Gavin. Oh, howdy, handsome. Oh, thank you very much, Gavin. I would say the same to you, but we're online and maybe quite a few people might hear it. I don't want to expand on our relationship at all, from a Geordie to a Kiwi. So if we've got any interesting questions, comments are popping up and people seem to be joining in again this week. Right, I died 4 times, but it was boring, so now I'm back. Yeah, poor old Nina has been suffering from some bizarre disease, possibly COVID, but we're not exactly sure, are we? What's death like? Come on, tell me a bit about death, Nina. Yeah, you're an experienced man. I've got my views on it. I don't what's that? Hot cross buns? Oh, hot cross buns for the kids. Hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Just a quick question to you guys. Is the audio okay? Hiya, Pete, you all right? You just popped up. Pete Dakin, the Dick Destroyer, which should be obvious what Dick Destroyer means. He knows what I'm talking about, and maybe 1 or 2 others do. How's the stream delay today? As far as I know, there's no delay. Am I right? Is there a delay, guys? Hello. I'm not experiencing a delay. I don't know whether you guys are. Please tell me if there is a delay. There doesn't appear to be. And no, that's a delay. I did that deliberately. And that's not a delay. So if you got that, you're okay. Louder than last week, which is better. Good. That's because I'm now using a lav mic. I've got a lav mic here. You see this little mic here, which I've worked out how to connect to the system via a splitter. People probably know what a splitter is, although the Dick Destroyer is probably not what I was talking about. So we're not talking about splitting Richards. All right. We're talking about an audio splitter. Yeah, Pete knows what that is. Nina, poo, lay in a box for a while, waiting to see the light and 80 virgins, but now I was crap, so I came back. That's his experience of death. He's seen the light now because he joined us on this live stream. A 1-minute delay between my tying those and you talking. Me typing those and you talking. Also, maybe there is a delay. There doesn't appear to be any type of delay from my end. So if one of you guys quickly type in a comment and I shall reply, and let's see how quick the reply is. So 5 minutes in, and we've discussed hot cross buns, hard-boiled eggs and nuts, the Dick Destroyer, and yeah, and Nina's untimely death. But he's back, obviously, and it is Easter, so maybe it was the resurrection. Maybe he is the new Jesus. Can you say that on live stuff? So have we got a delay? Yeah, probably. And I've no idea why. Probably more to do with my ineptitude online than anything else. But it's good to know the sound's working. So who else have we got on here? Quite a few promissory emails from people saying they were going to jump on today, but I guess they're going to be coming on at different times. So sent this at 12:06, and it's 12:06 now, Pete. It is 12:06, but of course that could be the beginning of 12:06, and maybe this is the end of 12:06, but I don't think so. Audio is good, yeah, I know. I've spent a lot of time on it. I'm better than Jesus. Nina reckons he's better than Jesus. Well, at least he's still here, but he doesn't have a huge following, sadly, Nina. We could set up the Church of Nina, which is interesting. Can you give us a potted history of the formation of the prior Peach-Eye camp, when it began, and how you picked the name? Okay, so I didn't pick the name was given to me. The potted history. Okay, originally, Rob's there. The name was given to me and John Ryan, actually. Well, John Bark, as he was known then. And John now resides in the USA, and hey, you never know, you might be listening to this and you can jump on board. But fundamentally, when I came to Birmingham, we had a camp in Preston and nothing in Birmingham. So John was running the camp in Preston, up in the Lancashire, and I came to Birmingham, obviously as a co-instructor, and sharing the name of the camp. And once I moved to Birmingham, I opened the camp at the university because I was a student there, and I had no intention of running a full-time sort of club or gym or anything like that. I just enjoyed teaching and enjoyed participating in Muay Thai. So afternoon, Kate, afternoon, happy birthday, Rob, by the way. Is that Rob Peacock's birthday? Yeah, it must be. So anyway, I'm going on about the potted history. So moving fast forward to 1984, I came to Birmingham, did my drama degree, and obviously carried on the camp there. John moved off to the US, had no involvement any longer with Muay Thai, concentrating on his acting career. He also was an actor, same as me. And we also served in the army together, Queen's Lancashire Regiment, and which is how I met him, I guess, and through martial arts, bit of both. That's a funny part of history. I'll discuss that another time. But then, yeah, the club just expanded. I started writing for Combat Magazine in 87, I think, 88, doing a couple of editorials. They then took me on board as a writer, full-time, unpaid, I might add. As most writers were in those days, but it was a good way of building my reputation, I guess that's what you want to call it. So I spent a lot of time, a lot of effort producing articles, reviews, book reviews, video reviews. I had a column which you can still find, I believe, in old magazines, old copies of Combat Magazine. I also wrote for Martial Arts Illustrated, and a couple of things for Fighting Arts. But talking about the development of the prior Peach-Eye, then obviously it grew from there, and we have clubs everywhere now. Unfranchised, just a big family. Coming back to prior Peach-Eye himself, the name actually originates from a warrior, a swordsman, who fought in Thailand alongside King Taksin against the Burmese invaders in the 1700s. When the Burmese had stripped Thailand of its independence, Siam as it was known then. Prior Peach-Eye was a famous guerrilla fighter. He became, after the war, he became King Taksin's bodyguard, and then had himself executed on his own orders. Quite gruesome. I think we've talked about this aspect of prior Peach-Eye before. So that's a bit of background to the prior Peach-Eye camp and where it got its name. Trust me, lots of people have told me to change it because it didn't go good on an internet website. I thought, yeah, well, tough shit. But I have been building a new website. I've just been talking to my web developer about the HIGHERWAY code. So there'll be a blog going live next week, which you can get on your mobile phones. Where I'll be uploading short videos and stuff. And of course, a full-size website, which will have Muay Thai, meditation, NLP, and something on acting and performance. So stuff on how to work in the media, which I've been doing a long time, motion capture and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys will sign up to it. I'm going to have to start charging, obviously, for some of the content because I am trying to make a living out of this. But there will be a lot of free content on the website. And obviously, the stuff that I do online is pretty much free, isn't it? Apart from my patrons. And on that note, become a patron. I need to buy biscuits for my dog. I know some of you guys are patrons, so that's great. What is the name of the book you wrote years back? Dad and quite a few fighters in Brum featured it. Yeah, the book is Ultimate Muay Thai. Originally, Ultimate Muay Thai was a book that was going to be that thick. I mean, literally, it would have been the size of a doorstop. Crowwood Press, my publishers, asked me to write the book for them. I sent a synopsis in and I produced this huge piece of work because essentially I had like 30 years worth of knowledge to go in there, which is expanding all the time. The book came out in 2004, I think. Horrible cover. They designed the cover. I wasn't happy with it, but there you go. It is what it is. The book sold quite well. I think went into 3 printings, but it's too thin. Doesn't have enough content, and I'm actually using the time now to use the notes from the original book to rewrite the book. The idea being is to launch on the website, maybe in 6 months' time, the new book. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be quite expensive to produce. Probably have to sell it for 30 quid to make any profit out of it, but it'll be beautifully illustrated, and it'll also it'll be a hardback. That's what I'd like. All the history, all of the rituals, everything. And Gavin says he's still got a signed copy of that book. So Gav's got a copy of the book. There is actually a DVD that goes alongside the book. And again, it features the guys from Birmingham. So if you trained with me back in the early 2000, you'll be in that book. Jim's in it. Abby's dad, Tony Kelsey's in it. My mate Paul Hunt's in it with long flowing locks, which he no longer has. Well, none of us have. I even had abs in that book. Not Abby, abdominal muscles. Oh, and Stuart has said he's managed to get a copy of Amazon. It's awesome. Oh, thanks very much. What happened to the rest of the content? Yeah, the editors cut it out basically and said we have to keep it short. I did an English speaking board exam focusing on it and Muay Thai in general back when I was 12 or 13. I remember that. Can't wait for the new book. Yeah. Well, genuinely, I'll sign yours, Anthony. Obviously, Nina. Justin. Justin's on board now. Justin. There you go. Justin's just hopped on. Justin is the chief instructor for the Prior Peach Eye camps in Wales, and I've known him since about 1985, maybe even 84. When I first came to Birmingham, he came to one of my seminars with his instructor. Amazing. Thanks for coming on, Justin. And he's a good old pal. And they set up the Prior Peach Eye Cumbran donkeys years ago, and it's still going to this day. In fact, Justin and his instructor, John, were the first camp outside of Birmingham. And I think you were established in 86, if I'm not wrong. So, yeah, absolutely spot on, Justin. Thanks for coming on, mate. It's really good to see you. Getting a lot of comments now. Yeah, Justin's saying 9 hours of filming for that DVD. Yeah, I remember that. We didn't have a script, did we? And the director was like, so have you done a script for this then, Bob? I went, no, I'm going to do it straight off the top of my head. And we did. And I think it turned out really well. I remember you, Justin, doing jumping kicks and I was padding you. And Vinny was there. I don't know whether Vinny's going to jump on today. Vinny is probably actually, yes, Vinny is the first person that I'm still in contact with that I first trained in Birmingham at the university in the back end of 1984, early 85. I'm a bit sketchy on that. because I started uni in October of 84. So I reckon it was probably December, something like that, by the time the club started getting off the ground. But there's only a few of us training. So Justin and Vinny will remember, I think we had 2 pads. I had a set of shin pads, stuff that I'd got from Thailand, and lots of oil, if I remember. There was lots of oil involved, wasn't there, boys? Yeah. Shades of, anyway, we'll leave that. Yeah, the Belgian branch is probably the smallest, and Kay, who's over in Belgium, who's joined us earlier on. Kay, the smallest. What he means by that is there's only him. But to be perfectly honest, that's how I started in Birmingham. I was kicking the bags on my own, so theoretically I was the smallest prior PHI camp in Birmingham. The biggest one obviously was in Preston with John Barker, as he was known then, and Steve Scotty. And Scotty kept it going for a while, and I don't know what happened to Scotty. Really nice guy, really good fighter. I think he had over 200 professional fights, and not many people can say that nowadays in Muay Thai, even though there's more fights now than ever before in Muay Thai, of varying qualities. There seems to be, before the COVID thing, there seemed to be a show every week. Everybody seemed to be jumping on the bandwagon, much to the detriment of the sport, I might add. So Scotty had 200 fights back in the 80s and 90s, so how the hell do you do that? Well, you work hard and you travel around the world, fighting in Thailand, Europe, United States, I believe he fought. Fighting I think he fought Rambar, I can't remember. I'll get a list of them. Koban, he fought Koban, who's a great fighter from the past. That was an incredible fight. He went the distance, if I remember. I think I might have even been commentating on it for either a TV show or a video series. I can't remember. I used to do a lot of commentary work. You can never have enough oil. Correct. That's too right, Justin. So, it's got quite a crazy history as a Pride PHI with people far and wide. So Fearless, you can see Fearless is Gavin, who's up in Ballata, who trained with me at AMAG, Aberdeen Martial Arts Group, who's another sort of, I'm going to say an affiliate, but we don't take money off them, obviously, except only when I do seminars, which is possibly why I'm skint most of the time and having a great time. You got any of your fights on film, Chief? No, I haven't. Well, there might be one or two. Somebody said they saw me getting knocked out on a video, which is highly likely. But there's I think there should be lots of Justin's fights, because he fought in the, am I right, Justin? You fought in the late 80s, 90s, European and British champion. And I think Justin also fought in Thailand as well. I'm sure he did, in fact. So, we've got some we had a great reputation back in the day, the Pride PHI. We had 8 champions, and this was back in the time when there was hardly any organisations at all. I think there were 2 main organisations, the British Thai Boxing Council and the British Muay Thai Association down in the south. So that was essentially all there was, which meant I think the standard had to be higher, and certainly the commitment to training was good, because the standard was a little bit higher. Clinch work wasn't so good in those days, and that improved once Tony Myers had introduced me to Pamu, and we met Pamu and we trained with Pamu, and that's when the actual clinch work started to improve. But I'm sad to say, I still look around at Muay Thai in the UK and I'm still thinking, well, what happened to the standard? I thought it would have increased. Whilst there's some very, very good people out there, there's, as you would expect, there's a lot of dross, a lot of rubbish. Can you throw some up, Justin? Have a look at, please, or fire some across to me and Bob. Derek Young. Hiya, Derek. How are you doing? Derek's come up with, I knew one of these questions would come up, and normally Matt would come up with it, with the ducks and the horses last time. Derek has said, would you rather have baby arms or baby legs? Baby arms or baby legs? Baby arms. That means you could do small arms training. Ha ha ha. So small arms training? No, forget it. Small legs. I think I'd rather have small arms, like, oh God, no. You wouldn't be able to do much if you get my drift. Small arms, you'd have to get somebody else to help you, if I know You understand what I mean by that? Yeah. Yeah, let's be careful where we go with that. 22 pro fights, 4 losses, 2 draws, retired as a British champion. So he retired as a British champion, but he's not retired because he's still teaching. So yeah, great record. Baby arms, baby legs. Do you want to get back to that? Anybody got any ideas? Small arms, bit of a Tyrannosaurus Rex going on there. Big legs, yeah, that'd be, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think so anyway. So the audio quality is good on this, guys. Any feedback on the visuals? I took the whole morning setting this up. I should have probably had a shave. But hey, I can't see myself. Well, I can, obviously. I'm on this live feed, so. But I'm trying to look at the camera rather than look at the screen because that's highly unprofessional. Fearless seems to be an issue with people loving the label of being a fighter but not wanting to put the work in. Absolutely spot on, mate. I say it all the time at the university because what people do is they'll come to the fighters class, which are designed specifically for fighters, and yet people will come on it, wear the shorts, have the t-shirt, and not fight. It's true to say that quite a high percentage nowadays will fight on interclubs, which is great, but very few people are happy to make the step to professional fighting, which I find a bit of a shame because a lot of the guys who fight interclubs are easily good enough to fight at a professional level. They've proved that time and time again. I understand some of you, and you've told me this, so it's not aimed at you guys, but the commitment obviously is quite big for a fighter, and whilst you're trying to do a degree as well as fight, I understand the difficulties. But people like Justin, and I remember back in the day, before you go to work, you go for a run, and after work you train, and that's the way it was. Yes, you couldn't get 6 hours a day in like you get in Thailand, but people like Justin and Gavin fought professionally with full-time jobs, and in Gavin's case, crazy kids. And can I also say a crazy wife if she's watching? But I do love Anna. I think she's great. And how she puts up with you, Gavin, I'll never know. I watch your Facebook links with joy sometimes. They make me scream with laughter. So keep posting that crazy 2-minute fighter thing you're putting on. Have a look at, everybody should go over to Fearless Muay Thai and sign up to his Facebook page and prepare to be assaulted, essentially, psychologically, and sort of physically. Because sometimes I'm physically moved by what Gavin gets up to online. Fought 9 times for Wales, twice for Great Britain, fought in Thailand and loved every second of it. That's Justin, chief instructor. Yeah. Our Arjan in waiting. Yeah. How's business? Yeah, Justin, working hard. Which is always my point. People have always got excuses not to train because they're doing a degree or something. And that's not aimed at you guys doing degrees. But I did a degree and I still managed to train and write articles for combat and take 2 kids to school and bring them up. You can do it. You can. It's just about your level of commitment. And if you want it, and if you don't want it, that's fine as well. Because I know there's a lot of people out there doing Muay Thai who actually, just enjoy doing Muay Thai, and that's great. I realised early on in my career that I wasn't born to be a fighter. I love teaching, and that's what I've always done. I love teaching. I love passing information on, and if I develop a new skill, I want to pass it on as soon as I can. Hence the thing with the swords that I've been doing a lot of. I've started just passing that information on to other people. And incidentally, you'll find that if you've been doing Muay Thai for a couple of years and you start teaching, it actually enhances your understanding of Muay Thai and actually gives you a better appreciation of how you could have been a better fighter. That's how I see it anyway. Working hard or hardly working. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, you're working hard or hardly working. Good point there. So, yeah, incidentally, just for the instructors out there, I came across a really good book, as I always do. I'm not sure whether I've actually got it up here. Oh yeah, I have. I brought it up specially. I didn't realise there would be lots of instructors coming online, which is great because there's a lot more out there who I haven't got a clue where they are. you know, we've got about 200 people on the validated instructors page, and we get about 10 people reply to my comments, which quite frankly pisses me off a bit. You know, it would be good that we're all supposed to be this family and give each other a bit of support. That would be great. So I'm not getting at the guys who give me support. I know who you are, you know who you are. But there's quite a lot of people who just seem to be, either they've given up Muay Thai, in which case get off the page and stay friends, obviously. But the validated instructors pages for people who are actively training with me and are validated, or at least keeping in contact with me. There's quite a lot of people on there just don't reply to anything I say. And there are those of you who are. So, yeah, I appreciate that, guys. I'd rather have 10 of you than 100 online, to be honest. And we all mutually support each other, because I've never taken anything from you guys, you know, other than a little bit of cash when I've done a seminar. I suppose that's taken off you, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I have done gigs for next to nothing, to be honest, and I've enjoyed every minute of it because I love Muay Thai. I'm telling YouTube you swore. You can actually swear on YouTube, but you can't, not in the intro and not in the outro, and just the odd profanity you can use. But I'm preferring not to use any profanities if I can, which, as most of you who know me, I'm finding extremely difficult. But having worked on radio, I know the score. Okay, so, well, you can get the Justin's level, Stu. You just work hard, mate. It's all, you know yourself. It's about motivation and having confidence in your abilities. Right, the book I'm trying to talk about. Oh, we are running a skeleton crew at the moment, Bob. Most of the lads are furloughed, of course, yeah. And we do a lot of engineering work for pharma and food. So, yeah, Justin is a director of his own engineering company down in Cumbrawn, one of the few that was left after the crash in 2009, 2010. And, yeah, things are going well for you, hopefully, mate. But, you know, we're all in the same boat with guys being furloughed. Some people are not having any jobs at all, like Nina. You know, his company just shit on him before this all happened. So poor Anthony, take him a food parcel or some porn or whatever that you do with young men these days. Okay, Stuart. Rob Peacock. I learned the most when I started coaching. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great way to improve. So if you've been training a few years, just get into teaching. Get into teaching as soon as you can. And instantly your understanding Muay Thai develops. Being a coach is really important. The book I want to draw your attention to is, and you're all kissing each other's ass here. Yep, Rob is a very good teacher because I taught him. But I don't take all the credit, obviously, but he was a young man when he came to me. Another Tom Sweetman. It would be great if Tom jumped on here and Tom and Rob could talk about the olden days. Or not. Let's maybe not go there. So the book that I was mentioning has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with Muay Thai. It's to do with historical European martial arts. But it's a fantastic book. And if you want to come up with some ideas about structure and so on, I might even be writing one anyway or putting something together. I mean, I've started talking about performance as an instructor online. And there's going to be more of that content going on to the HIGHERWAY code. So if you're not on the HIGHERWAY code on YouTube, go onto it and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, bang. You know how to do it. Anyway, and tell all your mates, because the more subscribers we've got, the bigger the thing becomes, and the more fun we have. And yeah, I'm not being narcissistic, but yeah, it's good, and I love doing this sort of job. I'm a performer. That's my job. So the book. Hang on a minute. Let's quickly go through these comments. Nina's crying with laughter. You also realise how much of a pain in the arse you were to the poor coach. Yeah, that's a good point, Gavin. Yeah, you start to go, yeah, okay. Now I know. Was I like that when I was a student? Yes, you probably were. But that's why you've become the teacher you are, because of the student you were. Yeah, it's also about having discipline when you lack motivation. Absolutely. Yeah. Because there's sometimes you think it's a shit night, it's going to be freezing cold in the gym, but you have 2 students turn up expecting 30, but you have 2 and you still have a great time. That says to me you're a good teacher. If you turn up and 1 person turns up and you still stay there and train, that means you're a good coach. You're doing it for the right reasons. There's so many people out there, not just in the martial arts, but in many of the other industries as well, who are purely in it for the money. That's fine, but just be honest about it. If you're in it for the money, just say, I'm in it for the money. Okay? To me, the martial arts and money, it's a bit of an anathema. The two, for me, I find it difficult to marry the two things. I mean, strangely enough, that's how I make my living. And I've never focused on the money. So I think if you're looking for a teacher, and this is a good point actually, if you're looking for a good teacher, do they talk about money and memberships, signing you up, or do they talk about Muay Thai? I think the ones who are passionate about Muay Thai and are keen to tell you about it, they're the ones you want to train with. Pete says small sessions are the best sessions for us students, in my opinion. Yeah, absolutely. And Matt's asking a question about acting here. Let me just go back to the book I wanted to talk about. It's the Theory and Practice of Historical Martial Arts by Guy Windsor. He's a good writer, beautifully put together book. If I'd seen this book, okay, there it is. If I'd seen this book, right, before I wrote my book would have been different. Honestly, it's a great book. Quite thick. How many pages? 339 pages. If you're an instructor, you don't have to, you don't have to get into sword to do this. It's about sword fighting, but nevertheless, it's a great book. What books on acting? Right, okay. Oh dear, how long have you got? There's lots of books on acting. Okay, Stanislavski, probably, it's the Bible of naturalistic acting. Okay, so the Stanislavski method. So any books by Stanislavski, and I reckon if I have to pick one, it would be An Actor Prepares. It was the first book I read on acting when I was at university, and I used it a lot. It's one of those books that's got underlining in it and pencil and highlighting, and I used it all the time. And that's for naturalistic acting. There are other styles of acting like Brecht and, of course, Artaudian styles of acting, which are very off the wall. I tend to blend all three when I'm teaching. So who knows? You're getting a bit of Brecht, you're getting a bit of Artaud, and you get a bit of Stanislavski when you're training with me. So An Actor Prepares by Stanislavski. You'll find it cheap on Amazon. Your passion. Oh, thanks, Stuart. Okay. Let's start again from the top. What book resource on acting would you recommend? Okay, also doing courses on presenting, really important. And I'm going to be doing quite a few of them. I might even set up a webinar for people to sign up on at some point, like a whole day of teaching presentation skills. And I can do that quite easily. I've got enough equipment to set a studio up now. And I can talk to you about how to change your mental state, which is important, how to learn lines, which is important. Not so much for Muay Thai. But for acting in general. But definitely when I used to run the old instructors courses, Rob Peacock might remember these, and Justin probably, and Matt, it was more about drama than it was about Muay Thai. So it was learning to present yourself in a way that people would have confidence in you, and it was entertaining. And the main thing is engagement. Can you engage the students? That's the key to it. Too many people don't. They can teach, they've got the knowledge, but they don't engage with the audience. And I always call it an audience because you're a performer. So as a fighter, Justin says, as a fighter, doing the judges and referees course improved me as a fighter. Absolutely. Judging and referees courses, if you can get on one of Tony Myers's courses, and I mean, I do the basic ones to get you up to speed. And people have said my judges have been really good, so obviously I'm doing something right. Actually, here's an interesting thing. Me and Tony Myers qualified as judges and referees in Thailand together in 1994, 96. I can't remember when me and Tony went out together with the British Thai Boxing Council. Anyway, we qualified together. You got me to talk for 5 minutes about... Yeah, I actually did. On the instructors course, we used to get people up to improvise about anything that other people would choose. It would put you on the spot. Bit of opera singing as well. That was always good. Okay. Abby, I would be interested in the webinars. Yeah. Okay. Well, keep your eyes open on on my pages, on Facebook, on Twitter. I'm on Twitter as well, guys. You know, I've been on Twitter forever, and Pinterest and Instagram. I haven't posted anything on Instagram recently because we've had no classes. And generally, Instagram was where I would post pictures of the classes and the odd picture of a book or whatever, if I was fascinated by a specific type of book. Those instructors courses, they were fun, weren't they? You know what's missing from this? Music. Yeah, we could have an interval and go, and now for a coffee break. I'm just nipping off for a coffee and put a little bit of music on. Sadly, copyright prevents me from doing that. However, Abby could sing for 3 minutes. So those of you who don't know Abby, she's on the meditation group. She used to be a student of mine. I trained her dad, and she's an amazing singer. And she's just brought out a new record. If Abby, you post the link for Spotify, if I could do it, I would, but I don't know how to do it on here. So if you can post your Spotify link that you sent me, then yeah, that'd be great. Gavin, I remember one of Bob's early seminars was over 2 days. My car broke down. The bus was late, so I had to run over to one of the other villages to get my friend to drive in. I think I remember that. Yeah, you had to get Aberdeen from Ballata, which is bloody miles, and it's cross country. It's a nightmare journey. But fair play to you, Gav. You were always there. You were one of the few people who actually travel over. We had a guy in Arbroath, but he never ever came up, which I thought was a bit sad because Arbroath's probably the same distance as Ballata. But there you go. Hey, I don't know what happened to the Arbroath camp. His son took over and then it fell apart, I believe. It was that much fun. Yeah, thanks, Gav. I tried to make it fun. You know, I used to be a comedian, you know. Yeah, those were funny days. 1987 to 2001, I think, was the last gig I did at Leicester Uni. But then the amount of work I had on at the time, it was just impossible to do comedy and martial arts and NLP and what else was I doing? Motion capture and obviously bits and pieces of acting work. Good shout, I need a coffee. Yeah, well, make me a coffee, Nina. There you go, there's Abby's thing. Just say yes, Abby K. So put the link on if you can, Abby, and then people can actually link straight to it. Same sick humour as me. Yeah, that's absolutely spot on, Gavin. Some people don't like it, but do you care? No, because you end up with the people around you who like that style of delivery. Can I call it a delivery? I guess that's what we do. We deliver information in our own unusual sort of way. So that's dried that thread up. So maybe we should talk about something else. If anybody's got a subject, then pop it up. Otherwise, I'm going to find a subject to talk about. I'm going to talk about presentation, actually, because until somebody comes up with something different. Because the idea of the live stream, obviously, is to impart these gems of knowledge to you guys, he says very wryly. So yeah, any of you guys have seen my latest sort of upload to the HIGHERWAY code, and that's a free one. It's not for patrons. I'm talking about how to build confidence before the actual act of performance. So what do you do before you walk out in front of a group of people, whether that group of people is an audience in a comedy club, in a theatre, or a group of people in a TV studio, or a group of people in a Thai boxing class, or any type of class. People very rarely prepare mentally before they go in, which usually produces a lackluster performance. So before any performance, there's a preparatory phase where you sort this out, what's going on in here. Abby, how did you get into martial arts in the first place? Okay, I'll answer that. A friend of mine who's actually now the guy who's helped me develop my website, he's a web developer. And if you want a website done, he's the man to see. Trust me, he's really looked after me. He's been there all the time. Brilliant. I mean, the stuff that you'll see on the website, you're going to be blown away by it, absolutely. And don't take that the wrong way, Gavin. So it gets back to humour. So Murray, I went to school with, he turned around to me one day, I think we were 10, going on towards 11. And he said, I'm going to this karate club that's opening up in the South Shields, my hometown. I thought, oh, okay. He said, I don't want to go on my own. Do you want to come with me? And I thought, okay, yeah, all right. So I went along with him. Enjoyed it, actually. I started enjoying it. I was doing it quite a few weeks. He left, but I kept going. And then I can't remember what happened. My grandmother bought me a karate suit, a gi. And so there was one session I missed, and my grandma said, why aren't you going to karate? And I was like, oh. She goes, you haven't lost interest in it. And to be honest, I had started losing a bit of interest because my training partner had gone, and I was the youngest one there. And literally the next week, there was a knock on the door, and the brown belt, Eric, who I always remember, knocked on the door and said, why aren't you coming training? So I felt really bad. So I got my gi, I went training with him, and that was my journey. That's how it started. And basically, this is what happened. I ended up doing what I'm doing now, which is teaching martial arts. So it started off in karate, traditional karate. I moved from Wado to Shotokan and Goju-Ryu to full contact karate to Muay Thai. There was no kickboxing in those days, and I wouldn't have done it if you'd paid me. So that was how I got into it. Justin has just come on and said, which is why I was a bit distracted then, I meditate every day. Do you find changing your meditation process regularly helps? I've got some sort of, not fixed views on it, but some, I think you're best focusing on one thing. If people are switching the process, I'll have a go at this one, I'll have a go at that one. It implies they're looking for something. They're looking for an effect, which is not the idea of meditation. The idea of meditation is not to look for anything, is to just sit. Now that's either just sitting with the breath, or just sitting, or sensations in the body. It's just that. And I think sticking regularly to the same approach is key. Okay. Having said that, I understand what people feel like when they're meditating. They feel distraction, they feel they get judgmental, which is one of the big no-nos in meditation. You shouldn't be judgmental. So for example, if you're sitting thinking this is not working, that's what you're doing, you're not meditating. So what you do is you go back. So if we're just sitting, focusing on the breath, and you start saying, oh, this is not working. What is it? What do you mean by that? You start to think, you're starting to get thoughts. And once you start to follow the thoughts, because you will get thoughts, there's no doubt about that. You can't exclude thoughts. The moment you start thinking about the process of meditation, you're not meditating. You're somewhere else. So when people say, oh, shall I change it because it'll be better? Well, no. Basically, meditation is pick one. Personally, pick one and stick with it. You either just sit, and the instructions are pretty clear. You just sit. It's called Shikantaza. It's from Zen. It's a Chan, which is a Chinese form of Buddhism. Zen is the Japanese name for Chan. Chan Buddhism. And it means just sitting. It was popularized by a 12th century teacher called Dogen. And his instructions are quite clear and straightforward. And he's sort of, if you can say, revolutionized. I think he brought Buddhism back to its roots, if you get my gist. And I don't want to wax lyrical about Buddhist history. I will if you want me to, but I'll err on the side of caution. So regular practice is great. Regularity is the key to it, because your body gets used to it. Stay focused on a specific thing, I think. Whilst you can have a second practice, I use two. I use just sitting or the breathing. And I don't apply judgments to either. I just do it. So just do it and focus on it, and don't start worrying or judging in your practice. Good to meditate every day. I think it's important, and people can always find time. Justin teaches for a living. He runs an engineering company for a living, but he also teaches Thai boxing as well. Well, he did until this happened, and he still has time to meditate. So, and he's Welsh. Come on. So some of you guys who tell me you can't meditate, well, yeah, fine, don't. Yeah, either do it or don't do it. Don't try. Never try meditation. Justin says, I've been doing the same process for years, which works very well for me, but a friend of mine constantly changes their, yeah, it is distracting. It's a bit like saying, I can't do the jab yet, or I'll do the right cross instead. If you want to get good at the jab, guess what you do? The jab. If you get good at a roundhouse kick, repeat the roundhouse kick. And that's what you need to do. I think stick to your process. There's lots of books out now on meditation and mindfulness, mindfulness as I call it. It's like a McDonald's franchise now. And you need to find yourself a good teacher. And by a good teacher, I mean somebody who's been doing it themselves a long time. And I mean a long time, 20, 30 years. Because they've you tend to come across every question. And it's the same answer, more or less. Just focus. Just sit. Distraction, yeah, you can distract yourself all day with trains of thought. There is a good book actually called Unlearning Meditation. I do love my books. And Unlearning is a great book. There's two books. I may have drawn people's attention to them the last time we were on live. Unlearning Meditation, I think I did it by Jason Siff, a really good book. And he says on the back piece, when we meditate, our minds often want to do something other than the meditation instructions we've been taught. You would probably all recognize that. When that happens repeatedly, we may feel frustrated to the point of abandoning meditation altogether. The book title, it says, is gentle, flexible, permissive, and honest. It's been wonderfully effective for opening up meditation for people who thought they could never meditate. So it's a good little book. What to do when the instructions get in the way. This is what people do. You see, they get tied up with the instructions and instead of just meditating. The other book I want to draw your attention to, and Matt's just come up with Stephen Hagen, but I've just picked this one up. Another one by Jason Siff. Okay? Just remember that. Thoughts are not the enemy. Okay? This is what I was saying last night in the meditation session. Don't judge thoughts that come in. Don't judge yourself. Don't think I'm bad at meditating. Just let the thoughts go. The train of thought exercise is great. Let the train go. Don't jump on it. And this guy, he's been doing it a long time. And according to Jill Fronsdal, who's a good writer of books on meditation and historical Buddhism, he said it's a respectful, intelligent, and refreshing approach to mindfulness of thinking. Rather than viewing thoughts as problems for meditation, Jason describes a holistic approach to freedom through a wise exploration of thinking. For anyone who struggles with thoughts in meditation, this is a good book. Okay? But again, you know, the book is the raft. Once you've used the raft, get rid of it. You've all heard the simile of the raft. Yeah? So you think of the teachings as the raft. You use that to get to your end point. Once you get the end point, you don't need the raft any longer. Okay? But like finger pointing at the moon. Do not confuse the finger for the moon. And all that sort of nonsense. Anyway, thanks for the chat. Yeah, Gav, yeah, obviously, good for you. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks, Gav. And I'll see you possibly online Thursday night. I know some of you have been having problems getting emails. Hopefully I've addressed that now, changed me thing. Okay, Gav, see you later, pal. Matt Caulfield, Stephen Hagen's Meditate Now or Never is really, really good. It's not, I think, I can put my hand on it. I'm not sure. I've got books everywhere because I keep pulling them out. And Stephen Hagen, oh, no, you know what? I don't know where that book is. It's called Meditation. I think it's just called Meditation. And I think the Now or Never is the subtitle of it. Never mind. But Stephen Hagen has written some great books. Stephen Hagen. He wrote Buddhism Plain and Simple. Buddhism is Not What You Think. Actually, Stephen Hagen's best book, without a shadow of a doubt, is this one. Okay, that one. Why the World Doesn't Seem to Make Sense. I might put a list of these books actually below. When this is all finished, I believe I can go in and put the names of these books. I don't want to be typing them while I'm talking to you. It's a bit distracting. So I'll make a list of some of the books I've mentioned, because I know some of you will probably whip off and buy them. But this is a really good book. Okay. It's a down-to-earth, sort of practical, non-technical response to the sort of questions that science and philosophy sort of pose, really. Okay. It's a really good book. And Matt has obviously got it. He said that one is superb. It is a good book. I agree. And obviously, I have lots of books. And did any of you guys get any of the books and start reading them? And have you all been practicing your meditation? I wonder. Okay, let's get those back in there. Get them out of the way. Yeah, the meditation book. I don't know where that's gone. I thought I saw it. It's probably on another bookshelf somewhere, which I find ridiculous because I shouldn't be moving them around. So, guys, we've done 51 minutes so far. It seems there's quite a lot of people engaged. I don't know whether anybody's coming on later on in the day. But there's been some interesting questions. Hopefully, you know, you've taken something away from it. Hiya, Rabia. Hiya, Rabia. How are you doing? I might take up boxing. How is it different to Muay Thai? Yes, very different. Boxing is simply the hands. In a nutshell, boxing is the hands. Thai boxing is the hands, the elbows, the knees, the shins, the feet, the clinch work. So basically you're using all of the weapons of the body. So boxing is very limited. It's good fun. Get you fit, get you strong. But you've lost most of the weapons, sadly. Okay. The gentleman's art of boxing. So no kicking, no kneeing, no punching. No. So, nah. Very, very different, Rabia. So if you were to take up boxing and then enlist in Thai boxing, you'd have to do a number of things. You'd have to change your stance, because our stance is different in Muay Thai as well. So Thai boxing is characterized by a more square stance, more square on. Boxing tends to be more angled off to the side, so you present a smaller target. Wouldn't work in Muay Thai. So yeah, very different. Just watch Thai boxing fights and then compare them to boxing fights, and you'll see the difference. I use a mantra nowadays, it goes. A mantra, I think Matt means a mantra, a chant. It goes, put that down, put that down. I repeat it all day. He's got kids. Or don't put your finger in there. Don't put your finger in there. Or get your finger out your nose. Or whatever. Yeah, mantras. Words of power. The Tibetans love them. And to be honest, most cultures have got some form of chanting that goes on. In fact, last night I was actually listening to some Thai Buddhist chanting. The morning, what they call the morning service. Makes it sound a bit churchy, but it's not. The monks in the morning, if you've ever been to Thailand, you'll hear them chanting in the morning. They're just reciting some of the Buddha's texts. They're not prayers, although some Westerners call them that. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa is a standard Pali chant. They use a thing called the Pali language to chant. It's quite hypnotic. So when you're listening to it, that's not meditation, that's hypnosis. But it is good. And I was thinking of actually introducing it next week, just as a little aside, just to give a bit of variety to the session. Not for the meditation, but for what we talk about. So just to give you some insight into that. The Japanese have it, the Tibetans have them. The Heart Sutra is one of the big ones. Hanyami, Ta, Shingyo, Koryu. I've lost it now, I can't remember it. Cheers, Bob. Got a dash now as one of the fellow guys that just turned up with some donuts, and I don't want to be last in the line. Yeah, enjoy your donuts. Justin, thanks, mate. Thanks for coming on. And tell Peter Vaughan and the other guys, and that crazy MMA Lewis, is it, or Llewellyn, whatever his name is, to come onto the YouTube channel. All right, cheers. See you later, Just. Rabia, I found 2 of the books you recommended online as free PDFs. And Scribd has a free 30-day trial and has one of them by Robert Wright, in case anyone is looking for the books. I think the book in question, Rabia, the Robert Wright one, is Why Buddhism is True. Okay, a funny title and caused a lot of problems. But yes, Robert Wright's book is very good. Yeah, very good. He's a scientist neurologist, I believe. Let's just double check. He's a good writer and he's a good speaker, actually. Yeah, The Science and Philosophy of Meditation and Enlightenment. Be careful with that word. Yeah, he's taught psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. He created a modern online course called Buddhism and Modern Psychology. He is visiting professor of science and religion at the Union Theological Seminary in New York. His other books include The Moral Animal, which the New York Times said one of the 10 best books of the year, and Non-Zero. He's written for many, many periodicals, magazines, and good newspapers. Yes. Yeah, good book. But even better than that, is anything by Stephen Batchelor. Okay, yes, good old Stephen Batchelor. They're all up there, sadly. Stephen Batchelor has just written another book called The Art of Solitude, which is a great read. Have a look at that. But his book After Buddhism is probably one of the most spectacular books I've ever read, and enlightening, to say the least. I had a number of epiphanies whilst reading that book, along with Beckwith's Greek Buddha. Sounds like a crazy title, but that opened the doors of my perceptions. Again, cheesy title. These academics haven't got a clue how to market things, but that's the book there. Okay. Greek Buddha by Christopher Beckwith. He's exploring basically how European culture was profoundly affected by Greeks, and how the Greek culture was profoundly affected by the work of Perot, who's a Greek philosopher. A great book. I read it and reread it and always find something in that. It's one of the, yeah, Beckwith and Batchelor, yeah, have been key in my development in terms of how I think and as a thinker, because as daft as I may seem, I do spend a lot of time in philosophizing, shall we say, you know, asking myself what this is, where are we in the world, what is this all about? Yeah, and I've come to my own conclusions. It's personal, but yeah. And found the free PDFs of Stephen. No, please don't link PDFs. I'd rather people bought the books. I've got a funny thing about PDFs. I've had one or two before myself, but if the author's still alive, I'd rather give him the money, if that makes sense, because authors like myself, we make money from what we know or not. So I prefer that people buy the books. And I know a lot of people are skint at the moment, but if all you do is write or teach meditation, you're not making a lot of money. And I know people uploaded or photocopied some of my books. That meant I was losing, okay, it wasn't a lot of money, 75p per copy. But when you haven't got a lot of money, 75p adds up when you sell 1,000 books. So I've got a thing about uploading free books, particularly if the author's still alive. If it's Richard Branson, then yeah, fine, upload away. Yeah, the guy's a multi-millionaire. But most authors, Stephen Batchelor, Stephen Wright, Stephen Hagen, people like that, they don't have much money anywhere. Not that that's not what they strive for, but it would be nice to see that they get something. And even though I've had a friend of mine wanted a copy of After Buddhism, so I bought it for them, because he said, "Oh, I'll get it off the internet. I'll get a PDF." And I said, "No, I'll buy it for you for your birthday," because he couldn't afford it, and I understand that. I don't know how the authors themselves would feel about it, but I've just got a thing about it. Fab Q&A, Bob. I've got to go and give an online singing lesson. So Abby's off to give an online singing lesson. Have a great one, Abby. I hope you have a great afternoon. And hopefully see you next week for the meditation. And of course, Thursday night online. And every Wednesday, Q&As with me. I hope I didn't go on too much about the PDFs. So, if we're coming to a natural conclusion now, guys, that's been an hour and 21 seconds to be fair. I've got a countdown thing on my default settings here. We've had 12 people watching, 3 thumbs up, which is great. And it was nice to see some of the guys, Rob Peacock and people like that. I don't know whether Rob's still there. He might want to add something. Probably quite a few of you have had to go now. So if there's no other questions, guys, I just want to thank you for coming on board today. Off to do some stuff, phone calls and things like that. And yeah, be great. I didn't go on too much about the PDFs. Paper books are just not, I agree. Paper books are nicer, Pete. Yeah, being able to hold, hey Rob, you're still there, good man. Being able to hold a book while you read it is great. I can't even get on with the Kindle things, to be honest. I see the benefit and their value, but I'd rather have the hard copy book any day, and because I can fill my shelves up like that. It's my main thing that I'm attached to, I guess. Well, not attached to, but I do like. Yeah, take care, Rob. Go and prep your lunch, and I'll hopefully jump on board next week, mate. And let's hear some of your seeds of wisdom. Paper books, you can't carry them around if you... that's true. Yeah, you've got a good point, Rabia. That's where Kindles would come in. And I guess if I was a foreign student and I was traveling, absolutely, I'd be taking books on Kindle. Yeah. I didn't even think of that because I don't travel much nowadays. I haven't been to Thailand for donkey's years. But I guess, yeah, makes absolute sense. 16 today, Kay says. Okay, Kay's on his way out, so thanks a lot, Kay. We need to keep in touch about your next lesson for sword. Mate, I'm conscious of that, so get in touch with me about your sword lesson online, and we'll carry on with that. We need to go through the doubling exercises. Seeds of wisdom, I don't know. Yeah, seeds, good. A full bookcase is super satisfying. Yeah, okay. Nice one, Pete. Yeah, you should talk about some of your books, Pete. And that's what we should do. We should do some talk about different books. I know you can only put comments, but I can quickly look it up and try and get some information on it beforehand. So if you want me to talk about any specific subject, either leave it in the comment section here on YouTube, yeah, down below, or just email me or text me or message me or whatever. And I'll do my best to talk about it. Yeah, Stuart, I'm going to give you a call in about 10 minutes, mate. When I come off this, I just need to have a chat with you. Oh, Pete, I had to abandon most of my books in Bristol. What did you do with them? What? I've never abandoned books. I carry them around in boxes with me. It's a nightmare. I've got a loft full of them. Boxes of books. On drama, probably. All the ones that are down here are martial arts, engineering and philosophy, and lots of books on Italian language. Okay, guys. So we're going to have to close it there, I'm afraid. It looks like most of you guys are going. So thanks very much, guys. It's been really, really good. And just like to thank you for coming on. All of you have been on. Too many to mention. Rabia, Kay, Pete Dakin, Rob Peacock, Justin, Matt Caulfield. I don't know how many else were watching but didn't comment, which is fine. But just like to thank you for your support. Keep in touch, guys. Keep on Facebook. And, you know, this only works if we share stuff. I'm investing a lot of time and money into doing this with little or no recompense at the moment. But I do love it, and I like keeping in touch with people. So please, please, please share everything you can. And you know, if you know somebody who's interested, get them to share it as well. So before I go, Pete, I'm glad to see that they're just locked in your room in Bristol. That's fine. Good. They're not completely gone. Good. Okay, guys, so I'm going to have to go. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope there hasn't been too much of a delay, and the sound has been good as well. Okay, guys, take care of yourselves, and I'm just closing down the comments here. I'll have to try and make it look professional one day, and it'll be nice to see you next week on the live stream on YouTube. Join in. I don't care where you're from or who you are. Please join in. I'm sure your input would be most grateful. See you on Facebook, Twitter, social media.